Ladies and gentlemen, this is internet personality Vangelus, and if you told me that a remold of my least favorite Fall of Cybertron figure from Wave 1 of 2012's Generations line would become my favorite figure of Wave 3, I'd call you crazy. I'd also possibly be spoiling the outcome of this review. Guys, this is Fall of Cybertron Air Raid. At least that's what his packaging says. As far as I'm concerned, he's Fireflight, especially since the real Air Raid awaits us on the horizon of this video. Let's ride into the sun. A new cockpit and core go a long way in making the one who is Fireflight look similar yet apart when compared to the Generations Shockwave alt mode. The folded up bladey thing on the roof helps as well, especially since it covers the still present fake Shockwave scalp. As for the color work, this is Fireflight through and through. I'm inclined to agree with the idea that the toy's name was changed at the last minute due to a copyright issue. I love the palette, from its muted red to its majestic silver and bronzy gold. Also, a clear ruby red blade runs along the bottom of the alt mode, giving me visions of amazing sonic slicing flyby attacks. The robot mode is where it all came together for me. Everything paint-wise is a marked improvement over Shockwave. The color placement's far more interesting. The inks and paint apps, more numerous and far more shiny. This guy looks like an aerial cyber knight. New to Fireflight are his chest and head components. The chest is good, a well-made pectoral sculpt that erases Shockwave's other main visual cue. Its Autobot sigil does end up flipped upside down in vehicle mode, but it's a small price to pay. His head sculpt is fan-friggin-tastic, evocative of a G1 Scramble City design and loaded with a plated rage that funnels through his deep red light piping, which admittedly is a tad dark for light to easily pipe through. The other big addition to Fireflight, and in fact all of the Generations Fall of Cybertron remold redecos, are his new weapons. Shockwave's 3-barrel cannon has lost one of its pipes for a new mounting point. It can be held, but I prefer how it looks when attached to the end of one of Fireflight's forearms. The mounting point is for what replaced the muzzle, a rather large fold-out blade. Attaching it gives Fireflight a giant sword hand! This begins to tread a super-robot border, but let's step back for 1 second to take a look at the last new accessory. The bladey thing from the roof of the alt mode folds into a friendly little sword, silver-bladed with a ruby core. With this and the cannon in his hands, and the larger blade stored on his back, Fireflight looks like a one-man strike force on a mission of justice. Finally, and super robot as all get out in doing so, all of Fireflight's weapons can unite into what the packaging refers to as a triple-bladed sword. I call it the final cherry on top of the hot-blooded cake that is this toy. Fireflight looks like the Zanger Zonvault of the War for Cybertron, able to cleave Decepticon dreadnoughts from head to crotch in one mighty chesto! If you can't tell, all of this stuff added up to a toy that rubbed me right up my happiness. I never thought I would fall in love with a toy based on Generation Shockwave, but this guy knocked every other remold redeco in his wave out of my waters. I have no idea who he is as an official character, and I don't care. To me, this is the lone swordsman of the Fall of Cybertron, fighting his private war and standing for justice in his quest, his search for his other. If you want to take a gamble on this guy, I will only lay my hand on your shoulder and gently push you forward. Regardless of his source material, he's simply a fun and characterful package of transforming robot toy. Anyway, this has been Internet Personality Vangelus. I hope this video has at least partly explained the deranged adoration I hold for this figure, an adoration that led me to decide that I needed for him a counterpart.